Right, we need to forget all this FA Cup nonsense today. We have 2 championship games left. If we get at least 4 points from them, we're guaranteed to win the title. We could win it in the first of today's 2 matches. Stop wasting time. Jingle, episode, do it now. Hello and welcome to part 9 of my Football Manager 17 beta save with Everton. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against Crystal Palace and away against Leicester, and we are trying to win automatic promotion back to the Premier League at the first time of asking. The league table at the moment looks like this, with these final 2 games remaining. We're 3 points clear of Derby at the top of the league and 4 points clear of QPR, who are the main chasing team trying to pull us out of the automatic promotion places. We are playing against 2 fairly decent teams. Obviously, Crystal Palace came down with us last year, as did Leicester. So they're both teams who would have been hoping to get automatically straight back up to the Premier League in the same way we're hoping to. Palace have just been rubbish and have ruled themselves out of it. But, you know, they'll be all for spoiling our fun. And then Leicester are still with an outside chance of automatic promotion and fairly solid for the playoffs at the moment. So it's by no means a foregone conclusion, especially as we've been hit by a little bit of an injury crisis. I mean, it's only a little one, but we're already missing a key player for the FA Cup final now as well. I said don't talk about the FA Cup final. Goodness me. So we've picked up injuries to our keeper. Matthew Ryan is going to be out, hopefully only for this game. He should be back for Leicester, but he's got a strained wrist, and I hear wrists are quite important to goalkeepers. Rodrigo Chow is obviously suspended because he got sent off in the FA Cup semi-final in the last episode. Jordan Amavi at left-back has got a thigh strain and is going to be out for a couple of weeks. He's a slight doubt for the cup final, probably should be back for that, but will miss the 2 games today. And Tom Cleverley is done for the season. He's got a lower back stress fracture. Because he's a superhuman, he's broken his back and he's only going to be out for about 7 weeks. But we obviously won't see him again, which has been a shame because he's been incredibly important since Christmas when we switched to this system. Playing as that ball-winning midfielder, he's been superb. So that means the team that we have got at home to Crystal Palace today is Paul Nardi in goal, our loney goalkeeper, which means Ben Garrett of non-league to legend fame makes his way onto the bench. I think it's the first time we've seen Ben Garrett this season. He came in on a compensation deal from Crewe over the summer just because I knew his name. He might even get a kick at some point depending on how Nardi does in this game, but hopefully Ryan will be back ready for the Leicester game anyway. Although, if we win today and Derby lose and we win the league today, we might stick Garrett in for the last game of the season just to protect Barrett. And Ryan. Who's Barrett? Who knows? Ben Garrett traditionally has always been a problem with name pronunciation for me, and I just don't know why. So Nardi's in goal. We've got a back 4 of Silvio, Cheju, Van Beek and Omar, with Hernandez, Ryan Woods coming in for Cleverley in midfield, and Hughes alongside them, with Barkley in behind Lukaku and De Jong, who now have close to 60 goals between them for the season. They're doing all right, especially as Enner Valencia sat there on 18 goals from 20 starts as well on the bench. Right, let's get into this. We want a big win. Say, look at that. We're 6-1 on to win the game. And we are playing on the Friday night before all the other games take place. So we could, at the end of this game, be 6 points clear. Is that how it works? And all the pressure goes on to Derby then. Yes, we're in a good position. Yes, we've looked good in training. I don't care about him. So if we win today, I think we're automatically promoted, aren't we? Because we're 4 points clear of 3rd place, so it then just becomes a case of, on the final day of the season, trying to win the league. Look, Palace has still got Benteke up front. He caused us no end of problems last year when I was at Liverpool. They've got Much in their team as well, who obviously spent the first half of this season with us and didn't make an appearance for the Everton team, but we did make a nice profit on him because Palace sold him and then bought him back for double the price, despite him not playing for us because they're mental. Oh, Barkley's just, he must have scuffed that because it was a beautiful position, great chance, and he sort of scuffed it into their keeper, and we're 1-0 down because we've got Nardi in goal, and no one knows if he's any good or not because we've barely seen anything of him all season. Ryan's been so important for us, and it's not the ideal point to lose him to injury. I guess it's probably better for him to miss today than the Leicester game or the Southampton game in the FA Cup final. But either way, we don't want to be losing today, because all that exciting talk of pressure being on Derby if we do well now, if we obviously lose this game, then there's massive pressure on us, especially if Derby win and we have to play against a good Leicester team who have the only player in the Championship close to the goal scoring prowess of Lukaku with Jamie Vardy in their team. So there's goals in them, and it's got to worry us a little bit. So we need to get back into this. Silvio with the cross. Barkley again getting into a good position, but can't make anything of it. Silvio finds Barkley again, and at the third time of asking, Ross Barkley does get his 14th goal of the season. Only 7 minutes on the clock. We're back in this. It's 1-1, and that's a nice little move, isn't it? Silvio with a lovely little cross, and Barkley just nods it basically out of the path of Lukaku. Lukaku's coming in behind him and probably would have finished it himself, but Ross Barkley wants to make amends for his earlier misses, and he does exactly that. Right, let's go and grab another one now. Let's go and show this lot what we can do. So, Van Beek, look how far into their pitch our back four are sitting. We're being so attacking, and there you go. Our right back's just scored a goal because the ball drops to him in the penalty area. It's not as if he's flying forward on the overlap. He's just hovering in the penalty area, because why not? He's the right back. Look at all that space Omar finds himself in. He's obviously there as the extra man and makes the most of it with a lovely little finish. 2-1 up. And if it stays like this, we have got that all-important 6-point gap that makes things oh so difficult for Derby. Injury crisis strikes again. Luke de Jong, what's up with him? He's got a foot injury. Foot injuries are never quick, are they? That's probably de Jong out for the cup final now, which is a big shame. We already identified before the match that Valencia scored almost as many goals as him anyway, and we did spend £15 million then of Valencia. He was our top scorer in the Premier League last year, so it's not a complete disaster. There's probably more crucial positions we could have lost a player in, but still, I don't like the way injuries are suddenly accumulating. One of the features of our cup run has been that we've managed to stay completely injury-free, and it's helped us always have our best 11 out there when other teams have been rotating or forced into making changes. And when we're playing against Premier League opposition in the final, we don't really want to be having 3 or 4 players out injured. I don't know what happened there. The ball sort of sat on its own in the middle of the penalty area for a minute, but Lukaku's running clear. I mean, that was just an example of everything that's brilliant about Romelu Lukaku. It's his 38th goal of the season. Look at the pace and the power from the man here. He just leaves the defenders for dead, and then at full sprint blasts it so hard that even if it had been straight at the keeper, it's probably going to tear a hole in him and end up in the back of the net anyway. And it's 3-1, and hopefully this is going to be it now. We're going to wrap up a very important victory. We'd like another goal, obviously, but this is it's slowly starting to come together after a bit of an iffy start. Look at this football we're playing now, although Barkley with a wayward pass. Barkley's been a bit hit and miss today. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. Hughes finds Hernandez. He's in a lot of space. Finds Silvio with the cross. Valencia misses an absolute sitter. That's our second clear-cut chance of the game. The earlier one falling to Barkley. We've missed them both. Luckily, we've scored 3 others, but we need to be a little bit more clinical. We're not going to get 25 chances against Southampton in the cup final. We need to be converting the chances we do get. Right, substitution time. We're going to bring Belhanda on. I think he'll come on for Will Hughes. We'll just play him as the roaming playmaker. There's no need to shift everything around too much. Both him and Barkley would rather be in behind the strikers, but they're both more than capable of doing a job in the Championship in a 3-man midfield, and Hernandez has just scored an absolute beauty of a free kick to make it 4-1. This is all wrapped up. We're back in the Premier League, everybody. Look at that for a free kick. Free kick. I mean, when you've got a midfield full of Champions League players playing in the Championship, it's fairly handy, isn't it? I mean, we've got an incredibly good side for this team. I don't know how we got relegated last year, because we sold an awful lot of good players over the summer, and you all told me that the players we brought in weren't as good, and that's probably fair, with a few exceptions. Hernandez being one, who was probably better than what we had before, but in a lot of positions, on paper, we've weakened the squad with selling Premier League players and bringing in Championship quality replacements. But we're clearly far too good for this league. So how on earth did Everton get relegated last year? Benteke can't tuck that away. Silvio comes across the cover nicely, and we're just winding down the clock now. We don't want to concede another goal because we want to be nice and efficient, but we'll let them have the ball. It doesn't really matter at this point. We've had 34 shots today. 19 of them have been on target. Somehow only 2 of them have been clear-cut chances, but we have absolutely thrashed Crystal Palace and shown just how good we are. And hopefully this is form that can continue through the Leicester game to wrap up the league title and then into Southampton in the FA Cup final. Valencia, I mean, he's not really got into it since he's come on today. He needs to play himself into a bit of form, especially if he's got to play in these last 2 games now, depending on what's happened with De Jong. But there we have it. We are 6 points clear, and now it's all the pressure is on Derby. There you go. Look. Hey, look at that, everybody. I've got a Steam achievement for Shrewd Spender. You all think I'm Mr. Spends a lot. Shrewd Spender over here. I don't know what it means, but I'm a shrewd spender, apparently. Let's go and play Leicester. Well, Derby won their game, so we go into the final game of the season. Let's look at the league table. Here we are. We just need a point, and that's assuming Derby win. At the moment, Lukaku has pulled ahead of Vardy on both goals and average ratings as well, so fingers crossed he'll massively outplay, or at least outscore him today. He's already got average rating wrapped up. We just don't want Vardy to be man of the match, and he has that wrapped up as well. And as long as he scores, as long as Vardy doesn't score more than 2 goals more than him, he's going to be top scorer in the Championship as well. So that'd be splendid. But the main goal is the point. We'll worry about getting Lukaku all his individual awards afterwards. So this is the team. A couple of changes. Williams comes in for Chedju at the back because Chedju's got a grump on and wants to move to a bigger club because apparently being a 32-year-old who's... Okay, I was going to say he's never played for a big club, but I guess they're big-ish clubs. Not as big as Everton, you could argue. And he's been a reserve for us for most of the second half of the season. And we've just got back into the Premier League and we could be about to go into Europe. But, apparently he wants to go to a bigger club, so Ashley Williams can come in for him and he can just sulk on the bench. And the other change is Valencia comes in for De Jong because De Jong has done his something bad. I can't remember what it is. He's done his Achilles tendon, out for 4 to 5 months. We won't see any more of Luke De Jong. Valencia comes in. And Matthew Ryan is back in goal as he is now fit again. So hopefully a win. A win would be very pleasant. Just go and... show them what we're capable of, etc., etc. So we just want to make sure... Part of me is thinking, right, we just need the draw. That's all we need. And the other part of me, probably the more dominant part, is thinking, just make sure Vardy doesn't outscore Lukaku. We want top scorer as well. One doesn't get that very often. And it's nice to rack up the little Steam achievements. The Shrewd Spender thing that came through before, that's because I'm spending less than 90% of the wage budget or something, because the wage budget's doubled as we got promoted, and I've been given £30 million to spend next year. If we carry on, we're probably not going to carry on. We're 1-0 down. That's a problem. We probably should get the scores on. We need to know what's going on in the Derby game. So if we find... We don't care about their silly goal. Latest scores, that's what we want. So we'll put latest scores. Who are Derby playing? Derby are... not playing, apparently. Can anyone see Derby on there? Probably in the D's. They're at home to Brighton, so we'll get that out of the way. We'll tell from the league table. It's just in the way. We're not supposed to be losing, though. That was never part of the plan. We need the draw to guarantee the title, but also to make sure we're going into the cup final in good form. Southampton, apparently not in good form in the Premier League. Lukaku has just missed a sitter. What's that all about? He doesn't do that ever. Leicester are now breathing down the necks of Derby as well, so I don't know if is automatic out of their hands. Derby seem to be losing. Are Derby losing? And Leicester are winning, so yeah, there's no chance for them to get automatic. But I guess they want the best playoff position possible, plus they want to teach me a lesson, because I may have dissed them in the pre-match press conference, because why not? They got relegated after being champions. Ha ha ha. It's, oh goodness me, we're 2-0 down. Stop mocking Leicester. It doesn't end well. We really are relying on Derby not winning now. So perhaps we will put latest scores on after all, because the chances of us getting anything out of this game are disappearing. Right, Derby are losing 1-0 at home to Brighton. This is good. As long as Derby don't win, it doesn't matter what we do. But it's not a fun way to win the league, is it? Being beaten. Everyone's mind's on the cup final. They're all still hungover from the promotion party. Right, let's get the Derby one on that. We just want... Why can't... Right, they're 2-0 down now. Football Manager people, Sports Interactive, if you're watching, which you should be, can we just select the one game we want? I don't care what's going on in all these other games. I just want to be able to click on that one and keep the score in that game on there. I notice you haven't given me my picture-in-picture I ask for every year. At least let me have the score of the other game on there. Right, Lukaku's got one. And I don't think Vardy scored either of their goals, did he? So Lukaku's just wrapping up the championship golden boot, we'll call it. Is it called a golden boot when you're not in the Premier League? Who knows? I mean, it's his 39th goal of the season. You can even see me dancing and jumping around on the touchline there. I've not noticed myself before, but that was very pleasant. Right, if we can grab an equaliser now, we can just confirm everything and not have to worry about the derby game anymore. Right, we'll bring Marco on for Woods, and we're going to bring Britta Sombolonga on for Valencia, because he obviously got that goal against Man United that never was, and I'd quite like him to get a real goal in a game that matters, and for him to score the goal that wins us the championship, I'd like that based on his history with Posh. He's obviously never really done anything for Everton, but frankly, he was never really an Everton player, was he? He's not good enough. Right, we're going to take Barkley off and bring on Belhanda. And come on, lads, we've got just over 10 minutes to grab the equaliser that we need. Derby don't look like they want it. They're still 2-0 down. But for as long as we're still losing as well, there's always the chance they'll fly back into it at the last minute. Plus, we don't want to go into the cup final off the back of a defeat. But that's exactly what's happened. Curses. Never mind, eh? Lukaku gets his goal, so he's going to finish top scorer. And let's just confirm it. We have won the championship, everybody. Huzzah. Does it tell us who's won lots of awards? No awards. Yeah, I'm great, etc., etc. Yeah, nothing about awards, and I guess they come a little bit later. So that leaves us just with one final game to play on this save, which is the FA Cup final, which will be out tomorrow. If you're waiting for Non-League to Legend to start, it'll be out on Monday now, because we need to give the FA Cup final the episode that it deserves. So that'll be tomorrow, and then we'll be up and running with Gainsborough on Monday at 4 o'clock. So if you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.